Hello, gorgeous people. How are you doing? Well, today I am going to tell you something that I found fascinating, a conversation I had about selling your soul to the devil. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. I asked the emissaries this question. I said, are there bad people on this earth? And they said, no, like that. No, there are no bad people. There are only bad acts. There are only bad things that are done. But people are not bad. And what they said is, the reason they say that is because all of us are connected to the divine. We're from the divine, and so it can't be that we are bad. However, we can do bad things. That's for certain. Absolutely. But then they said this, which caught my ear, and they said, but there are bad beings. Okay, and they used the word beings and not people, and that got me curious. And so I said, so what's the difference? And are you talking about beings that are off this world, for example? And they said, well, yes, there are, but that's not what we're referring to. And so I said, you're talking about the NPCs, non-player characters and everything. And they said, no, they're neither good nor bad, they're just there. So what they explained was that the beings that are bad are the ones who have disconnected, rescinded their contract with the divine, the connection with the divine. So I said, are you talking about the people that sell their soul to the devil, sign the contract in blood? And they said, yes, that's what we're referring to. They don't call them people anymore, they call them beings. And what they explained was that when we come here, we, and not just here, all of the beings, all of us, wherever we are, in whatever dimension, we come with a contract. And that contract is what we choose to do in our life, and we have that connection. That contract is our connection with the divine. What they said is that here, there's an option, which is to rescind that contract and write a new one. And that new contract is the signing of your selling your soul. Literally, and I know we use it kind of as a very glib thing. Oh, he signed his soul to the devil, he gave his soul to the devil, or whatever. What they're saying is that it's a real thing. When you sign the new contract, automatically your connection with the divine is cut because you've got a new contract. And I said, okay, so is that forever? Is that when you've sold your soul over to the devil, that's it, done? You're never going to have the connection with the divine? And they said, no, only for the period of the life that we are in, only on the timeline that we're in, and when we die, that contract is rescinded. So no, they don't go to hell. That's what they were saying. They don't go to hell and have to burn in eternity forever. But I said, so what happens when they go back after they've done that? They've signed the contract. And they said, well, it's going to suppose a very, very big amount of work. They've got tremendous healing to do on the other side, and they've got tremendous karma that they need to work on. So what they were explaining was that not everybody, because I said, it's everybody, all the baddies, have they all signed the contract? And they said, no. Lots of people, and they used the word people again, lots of people are working on behalf of them, the baddies. And they're doing it for other reasons, whether it's I'm doing this for the money, I'm doing this for the prestige, I'm doing this because that's what I've got to do, or whatever. But they're people. They still have a connection with the divine, but they're the lackeys, I suppose. But there's a group of people who truly have rewritten the contract. And I said to them, can you get out of the contract if you write it? And what I was thinking was, I've seen a lot of people who have what appears to have come out of that contract. And I tell you who I think of, Mel Gibson, one of them, who suddenly just started speaking out and saying, no more. That rapper, I can't remember his name now, or famous guy who was married to one of the Kardashians or whatever, he suddenly changed, after he done whatever he'd done, and suddenly he was saying, no, this is bad, or whatever, yeah? Jim Carrey suddenly started to speak out against all of that. And what the emissary said about those people, the ones who choose to undo the contract, they said they can, but it's very difficult. The reason is the devil's contract, this is what the emissary said, the devil's contract has a no get out clause, that you're not allowed to get out of it. And they said the only way that people can get out of it is what you'll see is a pattern, that they come out and they start to become fervent, religiously fervent. Like that's all they talk about. They become almost like obsessed in a very culty style. Also, they often become mad. And I believe that the baddies attack them and attack the personality and do all kinds of weird stuff, and they go mad quite often. And they're portrayed as mad. And when you listen to them, they're mad. Look, I mean, let's not blame the baddies for everything. They are mad. Like you listen to them and you think, wow, this is somebody who's not balanced anymore. And then the emissary said, and often they lose their life because of that. They're not allowed to live. So getting out of the contract is a bummer whilst you're still alive. And maybe, I don't know, maybe lots of them shuffle off because that's the best way of getting out of the contract. I don't know. And so it's interesting, isn't it, that what we talk about almost glibly about selling your soul to the devil, the emissaries are saying that it's a real thing. And it is a true contract. Just as we come with a contract, we re-sign it, and that's it. What's interesting is that the devil offers. Why do they do it? Why do they sell their soul to the devil? Because they offered wonderful things. They offered everything. With the devil, what can he offer you? Power, glory, money. And that's why it tends to be more with, people like Hollywood, the stars, the people who are very, very important. They tend to be drawn into that quite easily because the idea of having all of that fame and fortune and riches, it's hard to turn down. And yet, when they get it, when you see them, they are a miserable bunch of people. They are miserable. There's nothing that what the devil can give you is lots of material things, but he can't give you happiness. In fact, he takes it away from you. The happiness is gone. And so it's the absolute irony of selling your soul to the devil, isn't it? It's the catch-22, which is, well, you want all of this? No problem. I'll give you all of this, but you're not going to enjoy it. And that's just the classic way that the devil works. He's not around to make people happy. He's around to make fun of God and to turn people away from God, I suppose. And all he can do is give you stuff that's going to make you more and more unhappy. That's what we know about, possessions don't make you happy. Money doesn't make you happy. It makes you less dissatisfied. The issue is when you're getting it on the back of evil wickedness, then there is no enjoyment. There is no enjoyment. And it's one of the things that gives me peace, when I see bad people get themselves very rich and having these wonderful lives. And I always think, yeah, but you're rotten inside. And no matter how nice your champagne and your caviar is and your ice cream that you've got in your freezer, I'm talking about Nancy Pelosi, no matter how much ice cream you've got in your freezer, you're rotten on the inside. And you're not enjoying this life. And you only have to look at them. Just look at them to know that they're rotten. What's on the inside is projected onto the outside. And yet if you look at somebody who maybe doesn't have a lot but has tremendous faith, has a great connection with God, and look how happy they are. Look how much light that they carry with them. Look how happy they are and pleased they are with their life. They're not perfect. They fall down, they make the mistakes, but they keep getting back up again and returning back to God. And so, don't sign the fucking contract. Whatever you do, don't. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here because nobody would want to sign that contract, but at least you know. The emissaries think that anyway. And I think the worst thing, you know the story of Jesus when he was he was just about to die, and God withdrew his spirit. If you believe that story, withdrew his spirit, and he looked at me and said, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" That must be the worst feeling ever. You know, when you sign that contract and your connection is cut with the divine, that no wonder they become very unhappy. Automatically, I think that is a given that you're going to be as miserable as fuck. So let's keep our connection strong with one another and with the divine, and everything's going to be beautiful. And don't sign the contract. I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later.